out the article and read out these 2 emails. They make a significant difference. Most of the time, finance professionals, along with other specialist business functions, could be an engineer as well, I'm sure, present too many details. They ignore the broader business narrative, and they fail to make a recommendation to solve the issue at hand. And I'm not dead set on there needs to be a firm recommendation every time, but at least there should be actions we can take to either understand the issue better or to try and improve performance. The SUK model quickly helps you to avoid these pitfalls. So look at the emails I put in the article and ask yourself, which one is more compelling to you? And then next time you write an email, try use the SCQA structure, or just SCQ if you don't have the recommendation yet. Situation, communication, and question. Maybe even put the question in the subject so that the reader knows exactly, okay, I need to answer this question here for this person, or we need to answer it together. It's a very powerful technique, and I guarantee you 95% of finance professionals are not using this right now. So if you start using it yourself, or the VWs like Sufyan suggested, you get a leg up and you get a competitive advantage in your career. That was an example for me. I don't know, Sufyan, do you have a great example to share of how to apply another one of these tools?
Well, before an example, I would like to jump on what you said about the action or the recommendation, because there are a lot of pressure on this recommendation. People think that they have to come with the full solution and that they have to actually become the general manager of the company. That's not the goal. The goal of the finance professional is to bring enough information and bring enough possibilities to develop an action. And if your role is limited to the facilitation of the discussion, because of the often when you are in a presentation, it leads to a discussion. If you take the role of the facilitator, then the recommendation is there, and you take that role of the finance business partner. So don't be afraid to try that. And if you don't have any idea, well, that's not a problem, because at least you will make sure that something is done with the insight you brought.
No, absolutely. And I love that idea about the facilitation part, right? Because it's impossible that we have the right answer all the time. Maybe 10% of the time we can actually bring the right answer. And even if there is a pressure to bring a recommendation, that recommendation is never developed in a vacuum, right? It's not like you're sitting there with your Excel sheets and then boom, here's the recommendation. No, it's something you develop from actually talking to maybe the team members of the person you are going to present to, or maybe the person themselves before you're going to present. So they will always have some sort of idea about what it is that you're presenting, even if it's a recommendation. It's not something that just by magic appears, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's great you brought that up, Sufyan.
Yeah.
All right. Anyone has any last thoughts to share or questions to ask? Now is the time. We have Sufyan here on the stage as well. It's a first, I'd say, for the show where we actually physically here together. I didn't have other guests before, so really a pleasure to have Sufyan here. And if you're not following him already, you should do so. He shares so many great communication, presentation techniques, and tips and tricks every day. So he's really focused on that niche, and don't cheat yourself for following him there.
Thank you.
At least from my side, I can say that using these principles here, they will completely change and transform your impact as a finance professional. I've used it also today as a consultant. It is a consulting technique, right? So all consultants in the big consulting houses, they will be brought up with these techniques here, right? So use these consulting techniques, because being a business partner is much like being a consultant. Business partners just go further to actually prove that there's an impact. So don't cheat yourself from these tools. If you want more insights, more perspectives on it, you can of course always reach out to me on LinkedIn. Happy to share some more stuff here. Sufyan, any final piece of advice for the audience?
Yeah, that I wanted to react on the consultant side, because we often make fun of those. We often make fun